So be relaxed and breathe. Enjoy yourselves. This is a path of relaxation and enjoyment. It is not a path of a grueling effort. It is time to leave your grueling efforts back in the third dimensional reality where they belong. It is a path of letting go to that which is occurring spontaneously within you. Letting go and allowing, and doing what you can to facilitate it with your attention, with your focus, and with cultivating your stillness in meditation. And yet you are observing the process. Many ways to discuss the same thing. And it's a good thing there are many ways, or you would all be tired of hearing the same exact words over and over. You would stop coming to hear the masters. So we will give it to you in a little bit different package each time, a little bit different slant on the situation. As you sit and bask in our presence, in the presence of myself and the other masters and the angelic host, whom you have called to be with you, as you observe the process that occurs. So you have, to some extent, disassociated yourselves or detached yourselves from your material relationship to the earth. Or shall I say, from exclusively viewing yourselves as material beings with only material concerns. You have opened yourself to a spiritual journey which takes you beyond. And as a result of this, there has been somewhat of a detachment. You find yourselves between the worlds. You find those things that used to motivate you being less important to you, less inspiring. And you seek ever for new inspiration, for new guidance, for new realms of activity and understanding with which to inspire and gain enthusiasm, so that you can maintain your joy in living. This is not a path where you detach from all earthly activities. If you wish to detach from earthly activities, you could use a revolver. But you must remain alive and awake for this process. So, tonight I would like to speak about something that can help you a great deal as you make your transition. As you find those things that you were once involved with lessening in importance to you, what is there to fill the gap in your lives? You have your time on your hands, you have energy, you have focus, direction. How to apply yourselves while you are in between worlds, while you are waiting on the train station for the Ascension bus to arrive. There is much that you can do. I would suggest to you that I can label a certain spiritual experience or a certain attitude, you might call it even. Something that can help you, I will call it devotion. And it is attached rather directly to service. Devotion is the experience of love directed with purpose towards a goal. It is that which attracts you, that which inspires your movement once you have lost your interest in motivation by fear, motivation by materialism. It is that which will motivate you while you are between the worlds into the next world. You might say it is an attribute or an experience or a value that is something that grows as your attachment to third-dimensional reality lessens. It comes in to fill the gap. It comes in to give you guidance and direction. It comes in to replace the joy that you experienced by eating and drinking and buying automobiles and all of the many fascinations, all of the things which are still necessary, but which do not have the same excitement to you, let me say. So the experience of devotion is that which comes in to fill the gap in your hearts. You see, you are beings who are accustomed to a certain attachment of your focus upon certain objects or goals. This is the way you are. You are human beings. Human beings are always trying to do something or other. Yes? There are very few human beings who are content simply to sit in a corner for 24 hours a day. Some have tried to do so in meditation as a means of growth, but chances are it was only to balance out a previous lifetime of overactivity. So as you are beings who long to act, who long to be engaged, who long to create and accomplish, you need a focus. You need guidance with what to do with yourselves now that you have decided you no longer care to devote yourself to real estate. You need something else to devote yourselves to, because human beings are devotional beings. This is the planet of love. This is the planet where it was intended, or it is intended, for the ultimate experience to be one of devotion and love. In that regard, you are very lucky to have had this earth experience and to be sharing in this particular time when the experience of love and devotion is so awakened. Without the experience of devotion within your hearts, you would feel a sense of emptiness. As you leave the old world behind, you would sense a feeling of emptiness, a feeling of a longing, of incompleteness. In fact, I'm sure many of you have had this experience to a certain extent. It is within this vacuum that is created by your releasing the old that the new experience comes in. And the new experience is very joyful. It is an enthusiasm for your path, an enthusiasm for serving and for attaining closer and closer contact with the divine presence. It is somewhat similar to the devotion that a parent or a mother feels towards their child. It is an experience of a willingness to go beyond yourself out of love, out of selflessness, for some higher purpose. It could be only to change a diaper, or it could be to save the world. The experience is not all that different. It is feeling and sensing a need and giving yourself with a selfless attitude towards the filling of that need out of love, not out of obligation or out of a philosophical framework that, yes, I am on a spiritual path and I should have an experience of devotion and should be selfless and serving. This is not what I am speaking of. I am speaking of spontaneous love arising in your hearts, and it is love with a direction, with a purpose. It is that which comes through and fills the need and takes care of that which is required in the moment, that which is required of the Father's work, with his children. So just as the parent might feel love and devotion for their offspring, so the Creator feels love and devotion towards his offspring, which are you and which are all of humanity, and in fact all that has been ever created. We will limit ourselves to this world at this time for the sake of practicality. So as you come into that alignment with your higher self, as you give yourself to your spiritual path, you find that your will, what you desire to manifest, what you desire to achieve, comes into alignment with that of the Creator himself, with that God presence that is within you, and you find yourself having an experience of devotion, of love towards the betterment and the security and nurturance of humanity, specifically with regards to enlightenment and love. There are many ways to attempt to describe this experience of devotion. Many ways. You might say it is the most blissful experience that you can have on the spiritual path. It is an experience which ensures you continuous contact and continuous growth, continuous connection with the Creator. There have been many great teachers who have walked this earth, many masters, and from time to time it has been known to happen that a master would give a particular gift or a request, sometimes known as a boon, to one of his devotees, one of her devotees. And there is oftentimes within these aspirants or devotees upon the path serving a master, it often comes to their mind, well, what would I ask for if I were offered anything? Would I ask for millions of dollars? What would it be? And it is said that the wisest request that one could ask for is a continual experience of devotion. This ensures that you will never be alone, that you will never feel separation from the source of all. The source of all is the source of all. It is the source of the $1 million. It is the source of any other thing you could request. It is the source of love, the source of health and healing, the source of satisfaction. So you see, devotion is like glue. It is the glue that connects your heart to the Father, to the Creator. It is the glue that keeps you in your right place in the universe, on your path with maximum speed and maximum grace. It ensures the most direct transition between those worlds. And so it is something to be cultivated within you, something to be aware of. Be aware of it as it develops. You are changing so much. Each day you wake up and you feel a little bit different. You wonder what the day will hold for you. The growth that is occurring now is so incredible. It is so rapid that even if you feel yourselves getting stuck, chances are in 2 days you will have entirely forgotten that you were stuck. Perhaps you will be stuck in something else. Nevertheless, you will have gone from one experience to the next in your growth. This is how it is going to be until you attain to your ascension. It will not even change after that, but you will perhaps feel a little more grace in your growth, a little more smoothness, and you will not have the stuckness. that tends to happen here. So devotion also is that which is a constant, or can be a constant in your life. It is constant as your breath is constant, as you give yourself to your breath, to the life force within you. It is that which can sustain you amidst all of the transitions, transformations, in the midst of all of the earth changes that we see around us, all of the strange manifestations and clearings that are occurring. It is like having a solid root to hold on to. Not something that you need to cling to externally, but something that is within you, something that sustains you, that gives you that feeling of trust, that gives you that feeling that you are cared for, no matter what occurrence is happening externally, no matter what process you are undergoing. It is your experience of devotion towards the path and towards the Creator that carries you through with flying colors. All of your tests, all of your trials, all of your apparent separations, those times when you convince yourself that you are separate from God. Even at those times, you need not feel separate from your devotion. How does this manifest? In many ways. It can manifest and will manifest within each of you, within your hearts, as an incredible opening of love, a love that is not bound by any particular object, but a love that emanates in all directions, for all beings, for all of the universe, a love that flows through you, from your higher self, and out through your heart chakras. A very blissful experience. It also manifests in practical sense as you apply yourselves in your practice, in your meditation and your affirmations, those techniques which you use. Devotion, as it grows within you, inspires you to be consistent in your practice. It inspires you to turn to the source for your answers rather than to turn towards external substitutes. So while the television set is trying to feed you all of the external substitutes, drink this, smoke this, buy this, you will not be affected so much. You will have that source, have that devotion towards the true source of your satisfaction and nurturance. All those things that you have been longing for are feelings within you. If you have a longing for a new automobile, it is not so much the automobile that you are longing for, but the feeling that you imagine the automobile will give you when it is parked in your garage. Now I have the Mercedes-Benz of my dreams. And imagine what I will feel like when I have that. Well, you will feel somewhat different for a few days, and then you will have very high payments for a long time. So what I am recommending here is something that requires no down payment, no monthly service charges, something that is free for the asking as you apply yourselves in your path. Something that you have all experienced. It is that which leads you to our gatherings. It is that which leads you to continue so beautifully in the way that you are. And I say to you that this is the tip of the iceberg. And this devotion that you have exhibited so far in your lives will grow and blossom and become the most important thing that you experience in your existence. Your focus. And it will take you in many places, it will take you in many experiences, all of which will ultimately be in alignment with your particular missions, your particular unfoldment of your service, and your growth, spontaneity. So, we have you between the worlds. We have you releasing your previous views of the world and your attachments. Your previous outlooks are changing, are being altered. We have you unfolding an experience of devotion within you. I would suggest that there is a very good likelihood you will find a very much increased desire on your parts to apply yourselves to some more service activities. Whatever service activities are appropriate and meaningful for you, devotion will lead you in that direction. You see, the more you attain to your growth, the more you attain to your enlightenment, the less work you will have to do upon yourself, the more time you will have on your hands. And again, there will be that void, that vacuum, and you perhaps will have the sensation of, well, what do I do now? I have taken the Ascension course. I feel I am prepared for that next phase, and yet I am still on Earth. There will be much more importance of service to you, I feel, as again you have needs to engage yourselves in meaningful activities, and service is a very meaningful activity. And it will involve, most likely, some aspect of creating and manifesting love and divinity within other beings. You will find more and more a balance that is required within you, a balance between stillness, meditation, and activity. And as your desire for activity that is of a limited nature leaves you, you will have a desire for activity of a more profound nature, something that is connected to your devotion, something that is connected to your mission, your honor. And so you will fill that void and fill that gap with a desire for service. This is an aspect of devotion. It is an aspect of loving other beings, loving someone besides yourself, enough to inspire you to do some action on their behalf. We have been encouraging you a great deal for a very long time in our gatherings to nurture and take care of yourselves, to take time for yourselves in your meditations, not to get too caught up in things that no longer matter to you, and to give yourself that which you require for your growth, to nurture yourselves. Now I am encouraging you to open to the next phase that will come, and it will come for each of you at the perfect time, little by little, or as a great revelation, that what you are here to do is to serve humanity. And having served yourself sufficiently to attain to a point of evolution where you feel somewhat complete and happy, to the point where you have something very valuable to share, you will find a desire growing within you to share this in some way that you are particularly aligned with, something that feels joyful to you, or many things that feel joyful to you. And this is service. And service is inspired by love. And most generally, it is an awakening of this devotion within your heart that inspires an experience of love for humanity, or a love even for those beings that surround you, and a desire to assist them. And then the doors of joy and the doors of satisfaction and fulfillment can open fully for you as you attain to the balance between caring for yourself and your spiritual growth and caring for those whom you contact in this world. The shift is taking place with all of you, each of you at your own particular stage of openness. Pretty soon you may find yourselves running out of things to process in your emotional bodies. I don't think that will cause any of you alarm. Pretty soon you will say, I feel pretty good, and I felt pretty good for a while now. And you will not be so occupied with your own particular individual process. And again, you will find that you have that time on your hands. You will have that increased energy. And you will look around and you will be inspired with ways that you can share what you have experienced. So this is the connection that I am trying to make this evening between devotion and service. Service is an act of devotion, for it is not something which is done out of your ideas so much, out of your concepts about what is right or wrong. It is not something that is done for ego gratification or for the applause of the multitudes. I tell you, all of the great miracles have gone relatively unnoticed. And in the future, the miracles that you do, perhaps someone will write about them, but when you do them, I think you will probably not find too many standing around applauding, because you will be doing them out of selfless service, out of devotion, with no anticipation of earthly rewards. This is ultimately what service is. We have all experienced it. It is a very pure experience. It is very elevating. You might say that it is meditation in action. Perhaps you are becoming more aware of your missions. Perhaps you are becoming more aware, as a result of all the work that you have been doing, that you are here for some service. You are here for some teaching. In fact, we have been teaching teachers in this series of classes. Sooner or later, you will accept the understanding and the opportunity that you have within your mission as a teacher. And at that point, it will become very important to you, this discussion we have had about a devotion and service. Because at that point, it is not possible to turn back. It is not possible to immerse yourself in limited realities. There is only going forward. There is only expanding, taking the next step, the next step. And always it is spiraling upwards. And always it is taking you closer and closer to that pure experience of devotion, to that selfless experience. That experience where you are a teacher because you are an experiencer. And you are teaching by your own experience. This is what you will do to experience joy and satisfaction, to keep yourselves occupied while you are waiting for the ascension. This is what you will be doing after your ascension, in all likelihood. So you may as well get used to it. You may as well learn how to enjoy all of the bliss that is yours to achieve. Actually, I think you will find it a great relief as you begin to experience more and more in your life the focus shifting from your own process to the process of those around you, to the process of healing that is taking place in the world, in human beings. You will find a great relief. You will find a sense of completion. And you will still learn and you will still grow, but you will become a little bit more focused on the assisting of others' process than on your own. And by assisting others, you will assist yourself. And the walls of separation will no longer affect you. You will find a oneness with all beings, all human beings and all beings in general. In fact, the ego can dissolve quite a bit in this grace and bliss and oneness. It has happened to many beings on the earth, and it will happen to you, and it will happen to many more. So, tonight I have been speaking about devotion and service. Devotion, somewhat with regarding it as somewhat of a bridge which assists you in your period of evolvement between your worlds. I think you will be finding, as all find sooner or later, a very refined sense of balance within your path. That is a balance between stillness and action. And you will find that it does not serve you to simply sit and meditate for hours and hours in your own home, nor does it serve you to go out and do service projects, quote unquote, in the community without regarding your own meditation and your own stillness. You will find that the experience of service is not any particular action. It is an experience that you get while performing an action. So, two people can be performing the same action. One can be experiencing service and the other can be experiencing any number of things. And what will give you the experience of service is your attention to your own stillness, to your own balance, to your own connection with the divine within in your meditations, in your channelings. This balance is very important. It is this balance on which your devotion rests. It is this balance which is created as a result of your devoting yourselves to that inner growth. So for a long time we have been encouraging you in every way we can to meditate, to give yourselves. Now we are encouraging you to continue in this, but to be also aware that there will come a time when you will find yourselves becoming more activated as teachers, and the experience that you might now have sitting in a channeling or sitting in meditation will be yours in action. So, I'm sure you have, for the most part, had some experience of this, so you know what I am talking about. There often comes to the to the mind of those who are devoting themselves to this path as to whether what is my service, what is my mission, what is it that I will do. I would suggest to you that your service is not a particular activity. Let us say you are channeling, and you can say, well, my service to humanity is to channel. And in fact, this is a rather limited view of your service. For service is the experience that you have when you surrender yourself with devotion. And it does not need to wait to that hour when you are channeling for you to have that experience. So I would say, do not think of yourselves as having a limitation with regards to service or your missions, but rather give yourself to the fact that you do have a mission, and your mission can be quite broad-ranging. And in fact, your mission can be summed up in one term, and that is love. And it will be love in action in many different ways. And it is all involved with sharing your experience with others, assisting others selflessly in various ways. And wherever you feel the experience of service, you are doing service. And in giving yourselves to your stillness, your time of stillness and connection, internally, you are receiving and opening yourself to receive inspiration and guidance with regards to your service and to your mission. You would be surprised what you can experience in the way of clarity by simply taking that time each day to meditate. You will be surprised that at some point you might feel yourself given a certain assignment or an inspiration to do a certain assignment that never would have occurred to you, that may even seem beyond your capabilities. But somehow in receiving this guidance, you feel a sense of bliss or a sense of enjoyment, a joy, a satisfaction that is surrounding that, and it inspires you to give yourself to that process, to that assignment. So you are on earth assignment here. And it is, as I said, very important for you to maintain your balance so that you can be open to receiving moment to moment and new splashes as to what service would be best for you to perform. So again, do not get caught up in one particular activity as your service, but rather be flexible. As we are flexible, as we are playful with you, be playful with us. Do not take your service opportunities so serious that you do not feel the sense of play and enjoyment. It is important to have this enjoyment. It is part of the package. You are here to do great teachings and great works, and you are here to enjoy yourselves immensely while you are doing them. So again, don't be overly serious. It is very enjoyable for us when we come through and speak to you, or when we come through with our presence in your personal meditations and channelings, to feel that you are enjoying yourself, that you are enjoying our attention to you, our presence. It is never our intention to come through with stern guidance and disciplinary directions for you. For this is a path of joy, and you cannot teach joy unless you are experiencing joy.